Financial literacy. We host wealth strategy sessions and socioeconomic masterminds. The Board of Literacy is a 501c3 Finlit foundation based in Dallas, Texas, and we're the proud sponsor of Consistency is Currency 2 podcast. We have several platforms you can join to accomplish your wealth building goals.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys for being here. It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency. And it's a whole nother week, y'all. It's a whole nother week. You know, today is Monday. Today is November the 1st. And what happens in November the 1st? That means you got a whole 31 days to get it right. You have an entire month to make your last month better for your next month. You have an entire month to make your next year prepared right now. November 1st. Thank you guys for being here. This Consistency is Currency, to where we look at what we're doing right now that needs to be done consistent in order for it to make currency, in order for it to make things better for what we are about to do. So we're going to break down. Today we're talking about a champion's decision. A champion's decision. You're not making just one decision. You're making more than one decision because you are making it all the time. And growing takes growth. And I want you to understand that. And I want you to break that down. So one thing that I really want to really hit home with you is one. So I begin to write things down and just trying to look at things from a whole different perspective in order for me to see it from a different angle. And one of the things that I wrote down is a decision is like a credit card. And I want you to look at this from your perspective. And if it resonates with you, I want you to put something in the chat and how it resonates with you. So it said, I say decision is like a credit card. It's a lot of fun until you get the bill. A decision is like a credit card. It is a lot of fun until you get the bill. Now that to me is like, now what? You've made all of these choices, but now the bill is here. Now responsibility kicks in. Now real life kicks in. Now your responsibility is so strong. Now what are you going to do? Because like a bill, what you do at that moment will possibly affect the rest of your life. Possibly affect your credit worthiness. Possibly affect, are you responsible enough during the small times that is going to make it much better for you if you receive more wealth in the long run, or if someone is going to see you from a whole different perspective. Again, decision is like a credit card. Is easy to make until the bill comes. So that just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. I'm going to say it one more time. And I want you to look at it from your perspective. A decision is like a credit card. It is a whole lot of fun until you receive that bill. All right. So like you already know, we always go through the definition and we go through the etymology of the word itself, meaning the root word. And as I began to understand and to learn where the root word, you have the ability to look at where your root cause is coming from and what you're doing and what you do. All right, so let's look at champion, because remember, again, we're talking about a champion's decision, or a champion's decisions, because it may take you making more than one decision in order for you to get it right. Everyone knows who Kobe Bryant is. Everyone knows who, Tom Brady and Michael Jordan and stuff like that. They've made conscious decisions at certain points in their life that ultimately got them to where they are right now. As some people see them as a champion in their own right. Just like, the story about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, he did not make his JV team, but Michael Jordan did not stay in that for a long time because everyone knows he's right now considered as one of the best NBA basketball players of all time. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, but his story, just like Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson grew up, in Virginia, going through all the things that he was going through, but he made a conscious decision to change his dynamics, to change the decision processes he was making in order for him to be where he is right now in the Hall of Fame. Everyone has a stance that they have to take that is going to put them in a position to make it better for the future of them. Again, that is a champion's decision. So let's go back to the definition of champion. So the definition of champion is a person who defeat or surpass all rivals. So in order for you to defeat something, you have to what? You have to go through that experience. You have to go through that experience of what you're experiencing in order for you to come on the other side as a champion. You're going to have to make a decision right now for yourself. Is now the time for me to create this champion mindset in order for me to make this champion decision? Or are you going to stay so stagnant and stay defeated off of something that you know that you can turn around by making that champion decision? It was good until the bill came. Right? It was good until the bill came. Just like you have a teenage mom, her and the father made a decision when the decision was made. Now the child comes. Now they have to make a champion decision, whether you're going to be or not be. The mother's going to have to make a decision. Is this child going to ruin the rest of her future if she's looking at it from that perspective, or she can love that child even more and give that child the opportunities that she know that she can make for that child by making the decision that with or without the father, I am going to be the mother and I'm going to love my child because my child loves me. Same thing like the father. Either he's going to be the responsible individual that he can be. Again, these are decisions that those two individuals are making. Just like a bill, when the bill comes, you have to make a decision that can change the rest of your life in that moment, because it was fun. It was fun a long time ago. Let's go back into that experience. Now, in order for you to have defeated something, again, you have to have the ability to go through it. You have to have the ability to grow through it and go through it. Because remember, growing takes growth. Do you have what it takes for you to grow through it? Do you have what it takes in order for you to grow? Are you planting the proper seeds in order for the harvest to be bountiful once it's time for harvest season? How are you harvesting your decisions? Because if you're harvesting your decisions and it's not fruitful for you, then the harvest is not going to be bountiful. Again, in your season, it is good and it is fun until the bill comes. It is good and it's fun until the bill comes. And then you have to go through the experiences. You have to shoot 100 free throws if it takes shooting 100 free throws in order for you to make that one, then you're going to have to go through as many bricks as possible. Just like Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, he was not a great free throw shooter. He knew it. No matter how many times or how hard he practiced at shooting free throws, he was not as good at shooting free throws as the other, centers. But he had great work ethics. And because of his great work ethics, it allowed him to be where he is right now, because he made a conscious decision. I'm not going to allow my free throws to defeat who I am as a person, to defeat who I am as a player. And I want you to, again, understand that you have to begin to take the mindset and to create that champion decision. Because at times you're going to have to look at those thoughts inside of your head, look at them face to face, and decide whether you're going to make it better for you right now, because now is the moment. Because when you look at the now, it makes the future even brighter. Why? Because you're going to make that champion decision. So now, and every time that you do have a loss, there's a lesson in the loss. Just like grandma used to say, God has a funny way of showing you lessons. It's a funny way of showing you lessons because the lessons that you learn will only be learned when you acknowledge that the experience is greater once you go through it. It's a whole lot better for you because you understand the lessons that you're learning. It sucks sometimes when you're in that learning phase or that experiencing phase. But after you go through that learning or that experiencing phase, that's when you become the champion on the other side. Just like a boxer is still going to get punched in the face and in the stomach and in the arms and in the shoulders and all this stuff because he or she is going through a battle. But there only can be one winner. Even if it's a draw, you're still going to go through the battles. You're still going to have the bumps and you're still going to have the bruises, but you're going to have to be able to stand in the gap for yourself and not waiting for someone else to stand in the gap for you, because a champion is someone who has experienced something, but he or she makes a decision to be great. Are you making a decision to be great? Have you made a decision to be great? Don't take it personal when the losses come. Because again, at the end of every loss, there is a lesson. But the lesson is only going to be learned by those who understand it's the experience that's going to make it better for them the next time they go through something. It's not easy. Life isn't easy. So the etymology of champion is weird. I didn't understand it, but it is, and I want you to look it up too. So the etymology of champion, the root word, that means we're going back to the origin and the root of it. So the etymology of champion is campus. The etymology of champion is campus. The root word of champion is campus. Now let's look at it from a physical sense. On a campus is where? On a campus is where people live. On a campus is where people learn. On a campus is where you make your decisions. Because every time you walk, you're walking on your own campus. Every time you learn a lesson, you're learning it on your own campus. That tells you that you have to be okay with being a lifelong learner, because you're always going to have a deciding factor of a decision that you're going to have to make. And the only way for you to make that decision is unless you champion that decision. Not someone else. It's no one else's responsibility to champion your decision because it's yours. It is your champion on your campus. Where you walk is where you learn. And when you learn, that begins the process of your living. That's crazy, right? How champion can be the root word. How campus could be the root word of champion. Because every time you walk in life, you are learning every step that you take. Everywhere that you go, you're walking on your ground, because every time you are going through something, you're learning through something, because just listen to the words, going through. In order for you to go through something, you have to go through it. You have to approach it in order for you to get to the other side. Just like a hurdler. A hurdler knows from my starting point to my finish line, there are things that I am going to have to approach in order for me to leap over it and to continue to go. So you're going to have to approach that hurdle and take that step. And after you take that step, you're going to have to ascend past and over those hurdles that you are always going to face. And once you face those hurdles, then you're going to put yourself in a position to learn every lesson that you have the ability to learn. Lessons aren't easy. I'm just going to be honest to you and honest with you. Lessons aren't they're not easy. But lessons have to be learned in order for you to understand that there are lessons in life, and in life there's learning. So now let's go through the etymology of decisions. Now, for me, decision was crazy for me. Because a decision, now I'm going to tell you now, decision is the act of deciding, the settlement, the agreement, or to decide, to determine, to cut off. What do you need to cut off? Because if I am making a conscious decision, that means I am going to decide whether to go here or I'm going to decide whether to go there. There's no in between. What are you doing that you know you need to cut off? Who are you around that you know you need to cut off? Where are you going that you know that you need to determine whether you're going to continue to go down that particular road or cut that off in order for you to make a champion decision? Because a champion is going to make a decision based off of what? What is best. Sometimes it's not always going to be what's right, because you're going to have to look at what's best. I made a decision on what's best for the future. Just like, again, the credit card. I'm going to say it again. Decision is like a credit card. It is a whole lot of fun until the bill comes. You're going to either pay on that credit card or that credit card is going to get what? Cut off. You're going to either pay on that credit card is going to get cut off. You're going to either make a decision or you're going to cut yourself off from the blessing. That's crazy. You're going to make a decision or you're going to cut yourself off from your own future. Why? Because you failed to acknowledge the responsibilities that you need to take in order for you to be responsible for every lesson that's learned. Again, that's making a champion's decision. Because if a champion, he or her, make a decision that I need more practice, then you're going to make that champion decision. If that champion is making a decision that I need to read more in order for me to make it better for myself from the lessons that I learned, then you're going to have to make that champion decision. I was on a phone call this week. So one of my mentees, we were talking and we were communicating. And one of the things that he said to me was, man, I need to build my vocabulary. He a street dude. I mean, that's how he grew up. But he is now putting himself in in a whole different space. And he feels that because I'm street, or because, I talk with street slang and stuff like that, people are not going to understand him. So he feels that he needs to get his vocabulary right. And because I know him, one of the things that I told him, I said, dude, it's not your vocabulary. It's your content. Read more. Embrace the who that you are. And when you add on to the content, you're going to reach your audience. Because your audience is not my audience. Your avatar is not my avatar. So the decisions that you make to champion the who that you are, when you add the content to it, the audience that you're supposed to reach is only going to be reached. Why? Because of what you champion right now. If you made that conscious decision to start a business because you felt like, I don't want to work in corporate America anymore, or I don't want to be an employee anymore, I want to be an employer, then you're going to start to make champion decisions. You're going to start to do your market research. You're going to start to get your credit straight. You're going to start to be able to save money in order for you to make those business decisions, those champion decisions that you know that you're going to have to make purchases if you're going to have equipment to do what you need to do. That takes a champion decision. Don't sit around and worry about the low hanging fruit because the fruit is greater at the top. Anybody can deal with the low hanging fruit, but become that champion that you know that you can be. And one of the things that I want you to understand that you have to begin to develop character of a champion. So I'm going to go through just a little bit of the characters of a champion. If one of the words that you hear, the characters of a champion, if that resonates with you, then you say that. You say that word. You type it and you put it in a section because a champion can recognize another champion. Why you think Michael Jordan has Kobe Bryant's number? He don't just have his number because they want to talk about shoes. No, because a champion recognizes another champion and a champion want to be around other champions because they want to develop that championship relationship. I want to roll with champions. Don't you? Do you surround yourself with other champions and y'all make champion decisions and you make championship conversations? You put yourself in rooms to where y'all can assist others in making that champion decision. So let's go through the characters of a champion. It said the characters of a champion is a hard worker, mentally tough, overcomes adversity, ability to compartmentalize life. That's a big one for me. The ability to compartmentalize life. That means when I fall, I don't fail at everything else. That means I fail at that particular moment, but I do have the ability to get back up. It doesn't spill over into everything that I do. I fail in that moment and I make that moment better. So the next time I approach that particular situation, I know how to get back up. Why? Because I do have the ability to compartmentalize life. I can say, okay, you know what? Let me move this over here. Let me sit my tail down and I'm going to deal with you when I get off of work, or I'm going to deal with this later because I know I have other things that I need to do. And once you finish those other things, then you champion that and then you come back and you look at this from a realistic perspective, from a champion's perspective, because you're still a winner. You just might suck at that. I'm just saying. So that's when you have that laser focus. All of us know a champion because a champion does what? A champion has laser focus. A champion understands when he or her is in that zone. Have you ever been in a champion zone? Just like Steph Curry, when he's in his champion zone, he does what? He hits every jumper that releases from it. It's crazy, right? I don't care where he is on the court. He can just flick the ball and the ball will go in. That's that mindset. Are you in that mindset? Have you been in that mindset? When you've been in that mindset, then you know how to compartmentalize that thought and put yourself in the position to be a champion and make those decisions when it counts. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that go because I want you to be a champion. So I'm going to go through the other ones and then I'm going to go ahead and get off. A champion also has character. It's your character. It's what you embody. It's what you determine the decision is going to be. You have to have something about you that does not require anyone else's approval. Do you have character? What is your character? What are the characteristics of your character? That might be a whole nother lesson plan right there. What are the characteristics of your character? That's deep. But you're the only person that can answer that question. Because a champion has character. And the character should only be determined by you, not someone else's opinion, not someone else's approval. Yours. A champion is also consistent. That's why I made this. I created this podcast called "Consistency is Currency," because you're going to have to be consistent. It's just like an actor. An actor, even though he or her know their role, they're going to have to be consistent at it in order for them to know and understand that I need to get in character in order for me to play this role. And if I'm consistent in studying at my craft, it's going to ultimately create currency for me. Why? Because I'm being consistent and I'm being relentless in my approach. Are you relentless enough in your approach in order for you to make that champion conscious mindset because you have the character of a champion, or are you a champion? It's just like someone saying, yo, man, my role is to do this. Is it? Or did someone else tell you your role is a champion? Or are you a champion? All right. You demonstrate courage. Keep demonstrating courage. Why? Because I encourage you to. I encourage you to. Again, today is Monday. You have a whole new week. Whatever happened to you last week, let it ride. It was last week. It was last week. Whatever happened to you in October, this is November. You have one more month for you to get into the year of 2022. And remember, a decision is like a credit card. It's a whole lot of fun until you get the bill. It's time out for games. It's time out for the fun. It is time for you to get responsible and make that champion decision. Peace.